this week's motivational speech at the Spiritual Counseling TV network. This show is always free. The therapy session you can find in full as a member, but you can always find a sample on my YouTube channel for free. So this week, I wanted to give you all a very special topic for the Christmas season. I really want to talk about this motivational speech. My name is Christie Ramirez, and I am a soul coach, and I have a master's in marriage and family therapy and the psychology field. So this week's topic, like I was saying, is how do we release fear from past trauma? And I know that that's a very intense topic, but believe it or not, it holds people back so much. I see it all too often play out in subtle ways because it's our subconscious taking over. And when we need to take care of these fears that are holding us back, we really need to take into consideration also that these fears are related to the emotions attached to the past trauma. So it's not necessarily the past trauma per se, or even the memory of the past trauma, but it's the emotions that are attached to that trauma. So hence my number one tip for releasing fear that's related to past trauma is to change the story. Change the story by changing the perspective and shifting your attitude and interpretation as to what happened. That would be my number one tip, and I know it's very difficult to integrate into your life. It's easier said than done, but it can be done. And this requires a lot of compassion and above all, a lot of forgiveness. A lot of forgiveness towards self, but also forgiveness towards whomever.
Having trouble connecting to the internet? Check your Wi-Fi network connection by going to settings.
And also forgiving whomever hurt you or harmed you in that past situation. So this requires doing a lot of inner healing work, which is a huge purpose of my A New You 10-week soul coaching program. So if you find yourself in this situation, number one, I suggest that you take a look at that program. It's on sale right now. It's the program of the year for complete ultimate transformation. That's my number one tip. Shift the mindset and change the story. Number two, when it comes to releasing fear from past trauma, is to realize that it's not going to happen again. And of course, there is an if to this. There is a free will dependent on this, because what I mean by this is that it's not going to happen again if you don't put yourself in that situation again. If you are now wise enough to have integrated the lessons from that past trauma and know how to handle this time. That's what it means to mature spiritually. That's what it means to grow up, and that's what it means to now become wise because of our past lessons. Every past lesson or memory is an experience. Whether it was a trauma or not, it's an experience. So we need to also remind ourselves of that whatever lessons we are learning here in life, God has a reason for it. God wouldn't put us through situations if there's not something that we're going to get out of it. So my number three tip would be to shift your mindset to that of life happens for me, not to me. Because if one believes that life happens to you, that's a victimhood mentality. And of course, that's going to keep you in fear because you always believe that life is out to get you. And that's not a way to live, right? Nobody wants to live in this delusion of persecution or even in this fear, because that's holding yourself back from living your greatest life ever. So that's my number three tip, shift your mindset. My number fourth tip on releasing fear from the past is that whatever fear was created by that trauma, we need to remember that trauma wasn't even personal in the first place. And what I mean by this, of course, there's different kind of traumas. There's traumas that are uncontrollable, right? It's dependent on natural disasters or something exterior, not on a person per se. But there are other traumas that are related to actually someone harming you. And those are the kind of traumas that I'm talking about for this tip specifically, is that it's never personal. So if you have a trauma, for example, of being bullied, it's never personal, because there is always something that bully is trying to project onto another person and make them feel less than so that they can feel more than. So whatever trauma was created by someone else, it's never personal. So when we realize this, there's nothing to be afraid, because on the contrary, we need to be the bigger person in the situation. And if you're continuing to be in the situation that's creating fear, let's say you're in a bullying situation, then you can gain this courage to stand up to whatever fear is creating this block in your life or keeping you stuck, because there's nothing to fear. Because really, it's the other person that's afraid, trying to project this fear onto you, so it becomes like a mirror reflection and dynamic. So by you reflecting back that you are strong and confident and fearless, then that's what you're going to emanate and going to attract in your life. So that's my tip number 4, is to confront your fears head on. And don't take no for an answer. Keep going. Which brings me to tip number 5, which is praying for spiritual courage, spiritual strength, and spiritual ability to become a warrior of light. Because this is definitely a potential of yours. But you need to pray for this, and you really need to believe in it, which actually brings me to tip number 6. You need to believe in these miracles of transformation, of healing, of being able to choose unconditional love over fear. And that's what my A Course in Miracles 33-day challenge till Christmas is all about. You join this challenge by joining my spiritual book club in my School of Light. You become a member of my School of Light, and you have access to all the spiritual books that I discussed, but especially this special series of A Course in Miracles, which is the longest of them all, but is the most crucial and important for your healing, spiritual journey, evolution, and ascension. So by you taking part in this program, it's going to teach you how to be able to choose love over fear. So that's it for this week of how to confront and how to face these fears and past traumas, how to dissolve these fears, and finally step out the other side a strong individual, a transformed self, a new you. So definitely make sure that you take a look at this program. It's the transformation program of the year. Take a look at this week's therapy session. It's going to be so healing and so amazing. Again, my name is Christie Ramirez, and I am a soul coach. I have a master's in marriage and family therapy, a lot of extensive background and experience with psychology clients, and I encourage you all to become a member of my Spiritual Counseling TV network so that you can get more exclusive content like this, including your daily morning spiritual guidance videos to always keep you on track on your journey, and your weekly motivational speeches, weekly therapy sessions, and then I also have some extra bonuses that are seasonal throughout the year, including my monthly couples therapy talk show and a yearly love show. I'm wishing you all an amazing and beautiful holiday Christmas season. Namaste.